Right. So one of the most common questions that I keep getting asked on my various videos on YouTube or on my blogs is we bought a really expensive smart television or an Android television, but with time, over a couple of years, and in some instances, over a period of couple of months, I mean, the TV gets slow. The performance is not as great as it used to be when the TV was new. Are we doing something wrong about it? Is there a way we can really speed up our television? So on this video, we're gonna cover some really good tips that you should follow. If not all, there would definitely be at least a few settings or improvements that you can bring in into your television, and that will definitely help you to improve performance. Right. So before we start on with the very first tip, which is the most important one, and we'll cover one by one, just go through that on your TV. Make sure that the settings are correct. Is there anything else you can do? Is there something missing? If you have any questions, put it into the comment section, and I'll be happy to respond back to you. Right? Okay, so let's kick on. On the very first one, the first thing that should be definitely done is that your TV should be connected to through a wired LAN where possible. On Wi-Fi, where you won't really get too much of difference on the speed, the stability is an issue. So make sure that if there's a wired LAN connected to your television, that really helps for you to have a stability. A lot of apps would perform much better if there is stability on the connection. If your broadband is really fiber optic, but on wireless, there are good chances that the connection might go down or something might happen. So it's always preferred to have wired LAN where possible over wireless connection. So that's one of the tip. On my TV, it's wireless connection because the TV is placed too far away from where I could have the wired LAN. But the recommendation is that if your internet or broadband is not stable, definitely go and have a wired LAN connected. It's quite cheap. Just plug it to your LAN slot on your TV, and it switches automatically between wired LAN and wireless. If your LAN has an issue, it would switch to wireless. And it is preferred. I mean, the priority is given to the wired connection over wireless. Just to give you a heads up. Okay, so that's the first tip. Definitely do that. And if you're using high quality content, HD, 4K, then definitely yes, wired LAN is preferable. Second thing is, if you go to your settings, you would find a number of options in there, and we'll go through them one by one. The first one I would want to cover is the location bit. Where is it? Let me find it out for you. So make sure if you're not using any app that requires location to be shared, in that case I would ask you to switch it off. Just I mean, you can switch it on like this. Just select the option, or you could have just switched it off as it was earlier, right? So always preferable, because what happens is there will be a lot of processes running in background that will always be looking for a location, and I mean take up some of the bandwidth on your television, which is not ideal if you don't use it. Yeah. So the second tip is definitely to take the location and set it to off. Yeah. Let's move on to the third tip, and make sure that you're checking these on your television. And if you have any questions, as I said earlier, put in in my comments, and I'll definitely come back and respond back to you. Put in your TV model as well, so that I know which TV you're talking about. And these are all common for any smart television, any brand: Samsung, LG, Panasonic, Sony Bravia, or any other Android television for that instance. Or even if you're using an Android TV box, or a streaming device like Fire Stick or Roku. So, okay. Next thing is, go to settings. Within settings, you will find apps, and within the apps, make sure that the apps that you have under your downloaded apps section, it might be called different in different televisions, but you should be able to find it out. So you should have a fair amount of apps that you would have downloaded over time. What you would see there is the space that each app takes. That's number one. And if there are any apps that you don't use quite often, I would say, and if there are a few dodgy or apps that you've installed, make sure that you uninstall them. How to uninstall them? Let me give you an idea. Let's go here. This is a photo gallery screensaver app that I had installed, and I had no idea that I had it on my television. Or maybe let's go to Disney Life, which I never use, right? But the more dodgy one here is the photo gallery and screensaver. Let me go there. There are a few things that you can do. So there will be a few apps that will make your TV go frozen, yeah, or really affect your TV performance adversely. So what you can do is you can go to force stop, and there would be an option to force stop it, yeah. And this is something similar to task manager in your laptops where you kill a process, yeah. So you just force stop or kill a process and make sure that that doesn't affect your TV performance. That's number one. Number two is you can see the storage used, and also from time to time you can clear cache memory, yeah. So it would have cache memory, and the cache is used to give you personalized experience based on what you prefer browsing or prefer using app for. But if you don't use it quite often, clear cache. And I would say even go to the permissions section. Within permissions you would see the storage, whether do you want your television to use the storage or you don't want it. Come back. So ideally if you don't want it to store any use storage on your TV, switch it off. Next thing you should do is go to notifications, take off notifications if you don't want from that particular app, because we are, just bear in mind, we're only going through the apps that you don't use quite often, right? And I would say if you don't use it, you know it, you can always get it back installed on your TV anyway, right? So better uninstall it. So just go to apps, uninstall, and then that's it. It will ask for a final confirmation, and I've just uninstalled that particular app that I never use. So that's the third tip I would say. Review your apps on your TV. Make sure that you clear cache. Make sure notification is off. Location, we did it earlier as a part of second step. That should be off if you're not using it. Permissions, check that. And then clear cache. If you don't use it, uninstall. That's the final recommendation I would give you. Let's move to the fourth tip, which is switch off automatic updates. So within your TV settings, you would find something that takes you use. Okay, so we've got usage and diagnostic here. So that's another point. Come in here, and diagnostic is something that your TV would send information to the service provider or your television brand or Android for that instance to improve performance. Take learnings from it. But you don't want to do it if your TV is getting slow. Better switch it off. As you see on my screen, I have switched it off. So that's one thing that you should do. Then go to the restrictions. Again, unknown devices. If you don't trust any, if you have it off, it will not download any apps or any suspicious APK file, any other files that the Android doesn't trust, and that kind of prevents any malware or any viruses coming onto your television. Better you switch it off. If you are not a pro or you don't understand what it is, switch it off. Verify apps, that should be on so that it can verify only authenticated apps will be downloaded. Location we've covered, retail mode, speech, date and time, that's all fine, nothing to change there. Network, we said we need wired LAN, about, and then if you go to storage and reset, yeah, the last option that you would have on your television when something really goes wrong, it doesn't come back to the settings you wanted to do it, or performance is hit, do a factory reset, do a clean build. I've done quite a few videos on that before. Just follow the steps and your TV will be like brand new as it used to be initially. Whatever updates that you have installed on your Android TV or on a smart television will be, you will be asked again, and you can get them installed again. So that's not an issue, but that should be the last option if you can't really improve performance because of any other things. So fifth thing we covered was usage and diagnostic. I would go to security and restrictions again just to show you what we covered. That's point number 6 on my list. So you go in there, unknown sources, switch it off, verify apps, switch it on. Yeah. Okay, the next one is, yeah, so any app that you install, you should definitely see the hardware compatibility as well. So most of the apps, when you install it, like in this instance, I would install it from my Google Play store because this is an Android television. It normally tells you what hardware or Android operating system version it supports. If you're not very sure, it's a heavy app. You can see those, space. Normally they would show it in the Play Store or wherever you're downloading it from. Only if it supports your hardware, only then download that, do some research on that. Normally there are tips given when you download it. So that's another big thing that you should always keep in mind. Next thing is, when you use apps on your TV, make sure you close it properly. You don't just exit from it. You close it properly. Yeah. So there would be a couple of options for you, and you know what I mean here. You go in here, there you either you press a home button, so that's not properly exiting from the app. But if you press the back button or you go to exit within menu, do it always from there. Otherwise what happens is there will be some process for the related to the app running in the background, taking a bandwidth and hitting the performance. You don't want it, right? Okay, we did cover that you should force kill an app through settings earlier. If that app remains active for a lot of time and you know that it's taking up memory and bandwidth on your TV, so go and force stop or kill the process. So these, and then the last point that I have on my list is keep your television updated. What happens is, from time to time, Android or various apps, if they are up to date, they would send updates to your TV, and that will take out a lot of issues, known issues that people have reported. And you'll see with time you had an issue, but now since you've updated your TV, most of them have gone already. So you go to about, and then within about you'll find the version, the software, system software update. So within system software update, you can see check for system software update and automatic software download is on. It doesn't mean that it will install it while you're watching something on your TV. It will ask you for a preferred time, or you can do it manually whenever you want as well, once it has given you a notification that an update is pending. So we've covered 10 great points. Yeah, make sure that you go through this video properly. At the same time, check the settings on your television. If you have any questions, put in, as I said, comments here. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. I keep on putting in similar videos on my YouTube channel from time to time. And let's stay in touch. Thank you. Bye bye. Hope this was useful.